Hey everyone, it's Anna, and today I am doing my second video for Demigodathon. I recently posted my vlog where I read The Lightning Thief in this edition, and I had a lot of fun with it, so if you want to check that video out, I'll link it down below. But today I am doing something a little more low-key and something that's going to take me a lot less time editing. I'm going to be talking about Sea of Monsters a little bit, and I'm also going to be hauling some books that I recently bought and checked out from the library, and I'm kind of going with a little bit of a theme. Some of these are within the Rick Riordan universe and within the imprint, and some of them are not, but they're all revolving around mythology. Some of it's not Greek mythology, most of it is. So we're going to be hauling these and also talking about Sea of Monsters. So the first book that I got was from the library, and that is The Titan's Curse, and this is the graphic novel edition. I saw The Last Olympian at Powell's and I was really impressed with it, and the cover completely caught my attention and I was really excited about it, but I didn't make the connection in my brain that because they had The Last Olympian as a graphic novel, that probably means that they have the entire series as a graphic novel. And then I found these at the library. I picked up The Titan's Curse, and I don't know, it will be interesting to see how this is adapted from the book and like how many scenes are cut out. Obviously they're probably not going to have like every little inner monologue or every description from the book. It's not going to be an entire complete adaptation with illustrations. They probably cut some stuff out. I just imagine that like the dialogue's going to be the same. The artwork is really impressive and I love the cover, and yeah, I'm excited to read these. And speaking of the Titan's Curse, I also got, I'm just going to show them at the same time. I also got Battle of the Labyrinth, and the one that caught my attention, The Last Olympian. I sadly couldn't get my hands on the other books in the series, but at the same time, like, I'm glad I read the illustrated edition, but I also kind of wish I had the Sea of Monsters edition for the graphic novel, but it's fine. It's just a fun, different format to enjoy the story, and yeah, I don't know, it just seems really cool, and as I'm going along, finishing the series, I definitely see myself picking these up in between and just see how it differs. I really like these, I'm really excited about them, and like, if I really enjoy my experience with them, maybe I'll buy them in the future. I don't know. They're just really cool, and I'm excited to have them. So the next book is one within the Riordan universe, but it's one that is apart from the Percy Jackson series, and I haven't read any of these books. And yeah, just yell at me in the comments to read them because I really need to get on it, and that is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. All I know is that instead of Greek mythology, it centers around Norse mythology, which sounds really interesting. I've never read Norse mythology, so it'll be interesting to see what that's all about. I unfortunately have not read this series or The Trials of Apollo, so I'm really hoping to get started and start with this series and then move on to Apollo or read them at the same time. I don't know. But yeah, this one, wait, no, I didn't realize that was just like the name of the series. The book is actually called The Sword of Summer. All I know is that people love the other series within the realm of Riordan mythology. So it sounds really interesting, and I'm excited to get to it. Moving right along with the book I have here from the Rick Riordan Presents imprint. I'm really excited for this one. I picked up The Stormrunner by J.C. Cervantes, and in this book we follow Zane and Brooks. When Brooks and Zane meet, she reveals to him that the volcano in his backyard is actually the prison of the Mayan god of death. I've never read anything with Mayan mythology, and it sounds really interesting, and yeah, the cover is gorgeous. I can freaking focus on it. Look at that. I love this cover so much. Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to read it. We're moving on to another Greek mythology retelling, and that is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I'm really excited about this. I have this on my TBR For Swiftathon, February is going to be my catch-up month. I'm really excited for it. I'm just going to read the back synopsis. Achilles, the best of all the Greeks, son of the cruel sea goddess Thetis, and the legendary king Peleus is strong, swift, and beautiful, irresistible to all who meet him. Patroclus is an awkward young prince, exiled from his homeland after an act of shocking violence. Brought together by chance, they forge an inseparable bond, despite risking the god's wrath. They are trained by the centaur Chiron in the arts of war and medicine, but when word comes that Helen of Sparta has been kidnapped, Achilles joins the cause, and torn between love and fear for his friend, Patroclus follows. Little do they know that the cruel fates will test them as never before and demand a terrible sacrifice. So this just sounds really interesting. I am very excited for it. I love the cover. Yeah, I'm just excited for it. It sounds really good, and literally everyone who I've ever seen read this book has given it like 5 stars. My friend Coco over at Miss Coco Chen has been recommending this to me over and over again, and yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to share my thoughts. And then the last one that I got is another Greek mythology retelling, and well, I don't know if I should call this a retelling. It's kind of like a mix of Greek mythology but also historical fiction. So I picked up The Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is a romance set in the World War I and World War II era, I believe. And we follow 3 couples whose lives intertwine. And this is all told by the goddess of love, Aphrodite, as she's on trial. And she's telling this story of these romances to other gods and trying to explain to the gods how love and war intertwine. Sounds really interesting, and I'm really excited to read it. So that is it for the book haul portion, and now I'm going to talk about Sea of Monsters. I was very indecisive about this book. I felt like I don't know how to get started. I remember it being my least favorite in the series, and I kind of had that expectation going in, but I thought that was only because it was like a filler book, and I was kind of expecting nothing to really happen. And a lot happens, don't get me wrong, a lot does happen. We get a lot of character development, we get a lot of setup for a lot to go down in the Titan's Curse, and there's a lot of important information in it. Some people love how it's very fast paced and how they're constantly going from one thing to the next, and it's kind of just like that sort of momentum that we got in the Lightning Thief, and there's just like a lot of things happening in each chapter, and it's very action-packed, but it was like that for the entirety of the book. There was really no slowdown. I feel like if I had read it in a different state of mind, I would have really appreciated how fast it was, but I really just didn't feel it this time, and I wanted to see like more gradual development. Okay, so I'm editing now, and as I'm going through the footage, I feel like I really struggled to pinpoint here what it was specifically that I struggled with this book. And I think what it really comes down to is that it's not necessarily the pacing. It really does mirror like the same sort of pacing of The Lightning Thief. Sea of Monsters is very much a quicker paced book, and I feel like it solved everything very quickly, and it was kind of a letdown in that regard. I think one of my biggest problems with the book was that I didn't care about the plot. And while we do get so much important information, like I said, and there's a lot of growth of characters, their purpose for going on this quest I really didn't care about, and I just kind of didn't care what happened with that. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I talk about here that I did really enjoy. Ultimately, I think where it kind of falls neutral for me is that I didn't care about the quest. Like, I appreciated so much about it in terms of how we got to see Percy and Annabeth spend a lot of time together and understand each other more and have a lot of bonding time. And I loved seeing the emotional, like the actual literal emotional bond between Percy and Grover. I did though feel like that wasn't really something that furthered their friendship exactly. Like, he knew what was going on with Grover, and he knew where Grover was, but they really didn't have very much emotional development. Whereas with Percy and Annabeth, it was mostly just like their side of things and the growth of their relationship, but something that really stood out to me was the family dynamics, and it definitely added a lot of depth to Luke and Clarice. We get better insight into their relationships with their parents, and how some parents are very genuine in their concern for their kids and their desire to help them out as much as they possibly can. Though we do see that not all gods necessarily have that same attitude towards their kids. I just wanted to give a heads up for that. There's a scene between Clarice and Ares. He implies that if she does not complete her quest, there will be physical consequences. And I also wanted to give a content warning for ableism and use of the R slur. In the first or second chapter, there's a bully that is harassing Tyson, and he calls him that, and then Percy jumps to his defense, and in doing that he says the word again, saying he's not the R slur. I love Tyson. I don't remember how much of a role he plays in future books, but I imagine he is present a lot more in the future, and I'm excited to see more of him. I hope I can see more of him. With all that being said, I just want to take, I don't know how long this is going to be. This part alone is probably going to be like 10 minutes, but I just want to appreciate Percabeth for a second. Let's talk about Percabeth. The development of them, we love to see it. We freaking love to see it. It was just everything. He has her freaking picture in his binder. I died. It was so cute. How do I not remember that? But like, seriously, I love how this book challenges their relationship in different ways and gets them to really open up to each other. I love how, like in The Lightning Thief, we really saw Percy show off his intellect and his street smarts. But in this book, Annabeth is taking center stage. She is so brilliant. She also just like thinks of things that I would never imagine to do or say in those situations. But just like the scene with them when they're in the siren, I don't know what it is, just like siren territory, is the most beautiful scene ever. I just like think about it and just like how like much we learn about Annabeth, and just like how much that deepens their bond, and just like how determined he is to keep her grounded in reality, and he's just so respectful of her desires and her emotional ties, and it's beautiful, and I loved it. And guys, we need a TV show. I need to see that. I need to see that. It's undeniable just how perfect they are together. I'm so glad that this book took the time to delve into their relationship and give them that emotional connection. And it just makes it so much more realistic to see them develop romantically in future books. And yeah, it's just perfect. And yeah, I don't know, it's like he wrote their relationship so well, and I can't wait to see more of them in future books. And yeah, I could talk about them all day, but I'm just gonna move on. If there's anything else I need to say, is there anything else I need to say? Overall, I don't see it being 5 stars, but it did definitely build up a lot. And I'm excited to see the way things develop in the Titan's Curse. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. We made a playlist of all of the videos that me and the other hosts are making for Demigodathon. I'm gonna link that down below so you can check out the other host videos. If you have not yet watched my vlog, I'll link that down below. If you have read Sea of Monsters, comment down below and tell me all of your thoughts. I would love to hear. I would love to talk about it. Literally for like the entire video I didn't mention this. I got a shirt. I finally freaking got a shirt. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon in another video.